Sophia, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I missed everything else.
Okay, no problem. The question was from Patricia Cherisano from Vaughan, Ontario, and her question was, can a Canadian hold dual citizenship?
No, no, you can't.
So you cannot.
No.
Okay. I have another question here from Sean Daly. Once again, everyone out there, if you can, please let us know where you're messaging us from. If you could just state your city, state, that'd be great. So Sean Daly's question is, how long before you can expect an international airport? And I'm assuming, Sean, you're talking about Trujillo. So Mario, we were talking about this before we came on live. Mario, if you can just answer that question. Do you expect there to be an international airport in Trujillo maybe in the near future?
Well, there's a lot of factors that go into play, and I'll be honest with you. Honduras is in a very privileged situation. Honduras has 4 international airports as we speak right now. Has an airport in San Pedro, Tegucigalpa, La Ceiba, and Roatán. It's not very common for a country that size to have 4 international airports. To say that Trujillo is going to have an international airport, there's a lot of factors that go into play. I don't see it in the short future. You got to remember that you also have to feed the flight both ways, not only the inbound but the outbound. You have an international airport just about a couple of hours away from Trujillo. So those are factors that make it a little bit complicated. You never say never. It could happen, but not in the short future. But you got to look at the whole aspect of the growth, the surroundings of Trujillo, and I tell you what, Trujillo's in a very unique situation because you have an international airport very close. You also have a landing strip in Trujillo, which the plan is in the future to better that landing strip, to have better connections within the country. But going back, I don't see it in the short future, but you never know. In the future might happen.
I do have a question here from Phil and Suzanne Vorvis. Their question is, as you probably know, Panama has taken steps to facilitate retirement in Panama by expats or for expats. Is Honduras considering looking at similar plans? Sophia?
It is something that we have asked to discuss. Yes, to be able to facilitate all those Canadians who are wanting to retire in Honduras.
Can you be a little bit more specific on what type of plans are in the works?
Well, it's basically issues on the time of stay and the rights they can have as owners of homes in the country.
Okay. I have a question here from Gregorio Gonzalez, who's just recently became a community owner at the Njoitrujillo, Njoi Santa Fe area. Can a U.S. citizen hold dual citizenship? From Wadsworth, Ohio. I'm not sure if you're able to answer this question, Sophia, but he's asking about U.S. citizens. Are they able to hold dual citizenship?
There are no double treaties for citizenship between the United States and Honduras.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just, I said something earlier on the back with the ambassador pros, street pros, and the dual citizenship is only held, and you should correct me if I'm wrong, is when a Honduran who lives in Canada or lives in the U.S. becomes a citizen of that particular country. They never lose their citizenship in Honduras, so they could actually hold both citizenships. But you have to be born in Honduras in order to hold dual citizenship.
Okay.
It's not for U.S. citizens.
Okay. The question I have right now, and this is a question that it's a serious question because we get faced with this question everywhere we go, and we have clients at times that reserve a lot from us, then go home, hop on the internet, and then cancel their reservation almost 24 hours later once they start doing their research. We all know about the negative publicity on the internet that Honduras has. What is the government of Honduras doing to change their image? Sophia?
It's as you say, it's a very bad publicity problem we have. know they've been talking with trying to get Mario, an agreement between all the sectors in the country, private sector, the media, the government, and all working together in trying to show the positive image of Honduras. So you can see now that the private sector is more engaged with the government in showing all the positive things and working together. So it's a national consensus that is being done.
Let's just put it bluntly here. When people read all of this online, do we know what the truth is because we go there all the time? What do we have to do to ease their fears? I mean, I know that you're having an agency that's working. I was speaking with Mario yesterday about an agency that's going to be working with the government of Honduras. What would you suggest to these future clients and future people that want to visit Honduras? What would you suggest to them?
Let me add to what the ambassador said. On beginning of April, I believe it was April 8th, if I'm not forget exactly the date, but on April 8th, for the first time in the history of the country, the president of Honduras declared tourism a priority state. By doing that, what the president did, took it to the highest level, and now give tourism, the industry itself, all the components that it needs in order to better not only the country image, better the branding of the country, have more promotional funds, because at the end of the day, you need resources in order to be able to not, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say there's no crime in Honduras. There is crime. But if you know the crime, there's no crime targeted towards tourists. You've seen I mentioned the growth in Roatan, and I mentioned the growth on the north coast of Honduras. That growth, those airlines wouldn't be flying in, those cruise ships wouldn't be coming in if the problem was to a point where their clients would be, unsafe. So by doing that, and you got to remember that the president took office January 27th of this year. 2 months later, he's declaring tourism a priority state, and they're doing all the different things needed in order to better the situation from the standpoint of security. I mean, you're starting to see for the first time Honduras extradited a member of a drug cartel in a couple of weeks ago, which has never been done before. The president has reinforced police on the streets. We understand the severity and we understand the perception of insecurity that the country is facing, because obviously, like you're saying, you only get one side of the story. A lot of the crimes are targeted towards criminals that are involved in criminal activities, either be drugs, organized crime. But, we're doing everything possible. It's coming from the highest level. There's a fund that's already assigned to hire a PR firm that's going to guide the government in order to better his image, to better his whole branding scheme. Not only better the branding, but also do elements of promotion that will take that fear off people's mind. Because at the end of the day, they're only getting one side of the story. And I I ended with this. We're doing everything possible. You're starting to see major changes in Honduras. You're starting to see stuff that we didn't even think of maybe a couple of years ago. And this is coming from the highest level. There is a commitment from the highest level that has never been seen before. And I know for a fact the ambassador will also know this. The embassies, the consulates, in the United States and Canada, they have been given strict orders from the president himself that tourism promotion, confronting this is a priority. And you're going to start seeing different things, different strategies that are going to be recommended by this agency that is going to be in full effect in the next couple of months. You're going to start seeing that.
Yes, and I know the government of Canada, they don't really have a travel advisory, but it's pretty close to it. If you go to it, they mention that there's crime in certain areas and so forth, but it also says tourists are not targeted, and that's something that people tend to skip over that important fact that tourists are not targeted.
And I gave you some stats. I mean, if you look at the stats overall, you know, you look at the growth that Roatan has, 900,000 plus cruise passengers. You're looking at American Airlines in the past 2 years has added 6 flights on a weekly basis to the island of Roatan. You look at the enhancement of flights that San Pedro has had, Tegucigalpa. Now you're looking at Trujillo with the expansion of this new terminal. You're looking at a new airport in Copan. I mean, and this is not the government. This is people who are investing in the country. You know, this is the Carnival cruise lines of the world, the Royal Caribbeans, the American Airlines. That are believing in a destination, and they wouldn't be doing so if the crime was to a point where their clients again would be in danger.
Thank you for your answer.
Instead of withdrawing from the country, you can see through these years that they have increased the number of flights, number of cruises going to Honduras.
Yeah. A question I have here, there's a few questions coming in now from the viewers all across Canada and the United States. I have a question from one of our community owners, Jerry Bush, and his question is, can you tell me anything about a railroad track that will compete with the Panama Canal? This is Jerry Bush from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Yes, for Jerry, there are plans for building a dry canal that would connect all the country from the south part to Puerto Marquez. And the idea of the building of this canal is reducing the time. For example, the Panama Canal will be 24 hours less time to cross the Pacific into the Atlantic.
Okay, and that's great news.
That is being presented.
Sophia, if you can just speak up just a little bit on the next answer, because it's very difficult to hear you. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, another question here is from Leonard Bush, another community member. Will there be resorts being built in the Bay Area of Trujillo, and when will this be in the works if it is? Have you guys heard of any hotel chains that are interested in coming to Trujillo?
Well, you got to remember that Trujillo, there's investment right now with properties being built, sold. The cruise terminal has given this another different turn, and I wouldn't doubt that in the near future you're going to start seeing an interest, not only from international chains, but with the different elements that I mentioned about confronting crime, bettering the image of the country. You're going to see a lot of local investments start growing and start putting money into infrastructure, hotels. So I wouldn't doubt that Trujillo in the next couple of years, you're going to start seeing a lot of major developments, including hotels.
And back to the railway question, I have a question from Joe Bush again, not George Bush, Joe Bush. If that railway goes through, what kind of economic impact would that bring to Trujillo?
Well, I think it's hard to put it just in Trujillo, but if you look at the overall context of the whole country, I think the president has been very clear on his message. Make the country's #1 importer and exporter their ports in Honduras. With that said, that's going to bring tremendous economic growth to the country. There's a lot of commitment by the president to generate new jobs. He promised, if doesn't fail me, I think it was 400,000 new jobs in 4 years, 100,000 new jobs on a yearly basis. And he knows that by doing these things and by bettering the tourism offer in the country, he's going to be able to, fulfill that promise that he made during the election process.
Okay, and speaking of exports, can you name a few exported items that Honduras is famous for?
Sure. What are the main Ambassador, please?
Go ahead, Sophia.
Coffee. We are one of the top producers of coffee in the country. You have bananas, you have tilapia, you have melons and watermelons, palm oil also.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here from Sean Daly. How long did it take for Roatan to grow where they are today, and how long have cruise terminals been there? From Sean is from Brantford, Ontario. Mario, if you'd like to answer that question.
Sure.